Right, fellas, I want to give you feedback here on this Google Forms question that you received. So here's the first question that you received here. You had x plus 3y equals 6 and x plus y equals 4. You were told in advance that these are simultaneous equations, and a simultaneous equation means that I have two variables. In this case, I have x and I have y. Now, if you have two variables in an equation, you can solve it and you can figure out what x is worth and what y is worth. So the approach to solve a simultaneous equation is basically get rid of either the x or get rid of the y. So that is the first aim in a simultaneous equation here. Now, to decide on which one you get rid of, you basically have to read what you have in front of you. I have x plus 3y equals 6, okay? So, and I have x plus y equals 4. Now, if you look at the y's a second, y here, if I want something to cancel, then it could be something like, for example, 2y, and to get 2y to cancel, it has to be minus 2y, because what we really mean when we mean cancel is that we're making it equal to 0, okay? So that's the cancelling idea. So we can see here that to get 3y to cancel, we're going to have a minus first of all, and then we're also going to have a 3y. Okay, so you'd have to have 3y minus 3y, and then that would cancel, and that would give you 0. But you can see here that that's a bit of work there to try to get that y to become 3 minus 3y. Okay, what I'd have to do here is I have to multiply the whole bottom line by minus 3 to get all of these values up here and to get the y here to become minus 3y. Now, there's actually an easier approach here. What I could do instead is I could look at the x, and we can say, okay, how would I get x's here to cancel? Currently, I have an x and a plus x, and that would just give me 2x, so that's not going to cancel. However, if by some chance I could make this second x here, this one, into a minus x, then they would cancel. So we get x minus x equals 0. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Now, to do that, what you have to do is you have to multiply the bottom line here by minus 1. Okay, and that means you have to multiply everything by minus 1. And why am I doing that again? Because I want this to become minus 1x. Okay, so let's multiply this out. Now, before I can do that, what I'm going to do here is go back to blue. So I need to have the top line is staying the same. So let's rewrite that. X plus 3y equals 6. The second line is changing though. So you're saying x multiplied by minus 1. That becomes minus 1x. I have minus 1 by y. That's minus 1y. And that's equal to, we have 4 by minus 1, which is minus 4. You write out this line again. So we'll draw out this line. Now, I'm going to swap over to the red again. And this is where I told you use different colored pens to help you work along. Technically, this is a 1x. Okay, x and 1x are the same, like an apple and one apple are the same. So 1x minus 1x is 0. It's cancelled. We've done exactly now what we wanted to do. We wanted to isolate the y's. 3y minus 2y is 2y. Okay, so 2y is equal to 6 minus 4, which is 2. Therefore, if 2y's are equal to 2, y must be equal to 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Okay, and a lot of you stopped here. I got an answer there for many of you, which is 1, but 1 is not the answer. Y equals 1 is the answer for the first part, but you forgot to work out the second part, which is x. We want to get for x and y. So therefore, I pick any one of these equations, like for example, this one or this one. It's always best to pick the easier one. So this one here is really easy. It's x plus y equals 4. So let's write that out. X plus y equals 4. Excuse my writing. So we don't know what x is, so that remains x. We do know what y is though now, so that's y equals plus 1. So it's a positive 1. Positive 1. How do I know? Because there's no sign in front of the 1, so we assume it is positive. So therefore, x plus 1 equals 4. What I have to do here is that to bring across my 1, and that becomes x equals 4 minus 1. So therefore, x is equal to 3. If I can write x equals 3. Okay, so y equals 1, x equals 3. So just to go through that process there again. We started off with the simultaneous equation here. X plus 3y equals 6, x plus y equals 4. I knew that I couldn't solve this and figure out what x is worth and what y is worth if I have two variables x and y. I had to get rid of one variable so that I'm left with just either x or y. I need to decide on what I have in front of me based on these two equations, which one of them I'm going to get rid of. I'm deciding I'm going to get rid of the x. So we're going to get x's to cancel. We're going to make that equal to 0. Okay? To do that, what I have to do is I have to multiply everything on the bottom line here by minus 1. Why? Because x minus x will give you 0. Common mistakes made on this is that you multiply one of these parts by minus 1 and forget about the rest. You have to multiply each part by minus 1. So what I did was I rewrote x plus 3y equals 6 because I wasn't changing that. That is exactly the same as what it was before. But I was multiplying x by minus 1, which is minus 1x, and y by minus 1, which is minus 1y, equals 4 by minus 1, which is minus 4. You might be asking again, why do I have a 1x here? Isn't that changing it? It's not, because 1 in front of an x is the same, like 1x is the same as x, the same as 1 apple is the same as an apple, okay? So 1x cancels with minus 1x, that's cancelling. That leaves you with 3y minus 2y, which is, 3y minus 1y, which is 2y, equals 6 minus 4, which is 2, and 2y is equal to 2, so therefore y is equal to 1. Once you found out y here, you then work onwards and try to figure out what x is worth. Okay, and that's exactly how you solve the other two equations I gave you as well. So that's it for the feedback on simultaneous equations.